Hey there. Valentine's Day is generally considered a day to express love for people. And some people just say it's just a man made day created by florists and candy companies to drum up business. And uh, we did some research and we found one Valentine's Day alternative that is probably only in the US. People, singles are calling it Singles Awareness Day. And the acronym
Oh,
is SAD.
oh wow. Whoa. Oh my.
Think that is pretty sad, but we do realize whether you celebrate the day or not, Valentine's Day can be a good day for a heart checkup.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
big holiday season is over, and maybe you've already decided that you can't keep your New Year's resolution. But if you're a caregiver for someone on the autism spectrum, you might feel overwhelmed really every day. So what do you do on those days when your heart is just not into it? Well, that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
yep. So, welcome to the Superpower Radio Show with your host, Brenda Major,
Mia Dawson.
and we are excited to provide a safe and supportive community for people impacted by autism. We consider autism and other special needs to be a superpower because of the insight and the gifts that it brings out, not only in the person, but in all of us. Okay, we always let you know that we are not trained clinicians. We are not diagnosticians. We do not have degrees in autism nor the spectrum. The information you'll hear on this show is designed to offer strategies, comfort, and support, as well as faith and humor for caregivers to help them manage the symptoms influenced by this disorder. So, Mia, there is no question that you want to always give the best for your family. You want to
Yes.
always be there, but that's not always going to happen. So, what are
Very true.
what are some coping strategies that you might have to share? We'll share some others too.
Um, I was thinking about this last night actually, and I try to have coping strategies all the time. I think sometimes we try to take big breaks like a vacation or mini vacation instead of having those strategies throughout your daily routine.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm,
learned that because when I was in college, my first year, I had a medical scare,
mm,
and the medical scare was due to stress. It was stress induced. There was nothing else. There was some stuff going on with my heart, and my parents sent me up to Chicago, saw the best doctors, and the doctor was like, "This is all stress related. Like this is all this is." I was working two jobs. I was partying, duh, and
mm.
then I had a 15-hour class load, and it
Wow.
just took a lot. And I that scare started for me to start getting strategies even that early. I mean, I
Mhm,
was 18, 19 years old of, okay, how can I de-stress every day and not kind of just wait. I think we
mhm.
sometimes just wait. Oh, it's a vacation, now we're going to de-stress.
Yeah.
So I tried to have strategies before I even knew my life was going to be like this,
Mhm.
daily in my routine. And so I have one thing. People may think this is goofy, but I need this. I have those neck warmers. You know those warmers that you glow up that you put
Yeah.
in the microwave? I use that every night, and that calms me and relaxes me.
Okay.
That is one little small thing. They're like $20.
Mm,
And it kind of just de-stresses me from the day. So I use that just about every night.
okay.
Um, Another thing I do, which is I don't know why I do this because this probably is not healthy, but I do. I watch true crime shows.
Well,
And I'm like,
distraction.
there's distraction. I'm like, why am I watching this about killing people? And this is the stress. This is not stressing me out. I have no idea, but I do.
Well,
Um,
keeps you from
um,
wanting to kill somebody.
Maybe for not wanting to kill somebody. You know what? This ain't a good idea. They got 50
Right.
years in jail. Never
Right.
mind. I do, as you know, I love sports, so I watch basketball.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, Another thing that I do, I haven't did this in a while, but this is something I do. I'll go for a drive. I will get out. If it gets too bad, I'll be like, Steph, I gotta go for a drive.
mhm, mhm.
But those are little small things that you can I feel like incorporate in your daily routine
Yeah.
as opposed to, and I do this, but this is later, having a getaway, going
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
vacation, going to the spa. People may not have money for all that stuff.
Well, right.
This
And we,
this stuff right here you can do um in your home and daily. So those are a couple things that I do.
well, one thing that I appreciate when you started talking about your strategies is I think for some people they don't want to accept the fact that they are stressed and that they might snap.
Yes, ma'am. You are
um,
right. You
because
are
and
very
that
right.
doesn't mean that you're a bad parent.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but
It's
but
actually better that you say it. Oh my God.
and
Yes.
I think we probably both saw during the height of COVID-19 that there
Oh
would be
gosh.
groups of people who would go out in the middle of the street, mostly women, and they would just parents and they would scream because they
Yes.
just needed to
Yes.
release that anxiety. But we all reach our limits. So I think one thing, and you said it beautifully, acknowledge that something's
Yes.
wrong.
Something is wrong. I don't feel right. I need this time. There was a clip. You said something about during COVID. There was a clip. My household are Warriors fans, and there's a
Mhm.
clip on Aisha, Steph Curry's wife's Instagram page during that time, and she is on the staircase in their household, and she's just sitting there, and Steph comes up, and he's like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "I need a minute. I'm just gonna sit here,"
Yeah.
And it was during the height of COVID. She's like, "I just need a minute," and so we don't think about that. Like she had to, even
Yeah.
people that are considered
Even
famous,
famous
like
people, right?
this is not new. I need a minute. You guys are all here. I'm not used to you being here, and I need a minute. And so it's almost like taboo, especially for moms. You're not supposed to say that. I,
Hmm.
I think that's how I feel sometimes. We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to say that. We're not
Yeah, you're
supposed to
supposed to be
voice it.
superheroes
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we did a little bit of research, and one thing that might be helpful for people, write down some instructions for your family and close friends, including your kids. So when you need a break, they don't get scared, like, oh,
I
what's
really like that.
wrong?
I
Yeah,
really, yes,
what's
that's very
wrong with
true.
mommy? Because
Yes.
even I know from Neo, if you look funny, he's going, "What's
He
wrong?
is.
What's wrong?"
He is.
They
He
need
is.
to know what's happening all
Yes.
the time.
Yes.
So you might even have a stress drill. So like for older kids, let them know, hey, when mommy or daddy gets to that point, doesn't mean we don't love you. We just
Mhm.
need a little break.
Yes.
So when we let you know that it's break time for us, then you may need to go read a book, watch TV, make a get well card. Because I know
Yes.
your kid is such a caregiver
Yes, he
himself.
is. Yes, he is.
But
Yes,
there
he
may be
is.
times when he doesn't understand. Okay, this isn't a time when I need you around me.
Right. Right.
And then let them know, look, I need 30 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So,
That is, I love that. I love that idea because, and I know it would really work for Neo if he knew,
mhm,
because he needs to see that and hear that.
mhm.
Isaiah's not going to follow that instruction very well, but Neo will follow it to the T. Okay, but he'll tell you, Mom, you said 30 minutes, it's up. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So everything good? You good now?
Right, right, right. Isaiah would have kept coming through the whole 30 minutes. Like
Mm,
yeah, checking. So
okay. So,
yeah.
even for, younger or lower functioning kids, you might want to do some soothing techniques like swaddle them, hug them, rock them back and forth and hum
Yeah.
because it's going to calm you both down.
Yep. Yep.
So that's another thing that you
That's
might
very true.
try.
That's very true. That's very true.
So another one is, put everybody in timeout for just a few minutes.
This was interesting.
What
This
did
was
you think of that? Yeah.
interesting. I
Set
was
a
putting what I
timer, make a game out of it. Hey, first one to move has to do the dishes. So we're going to start this timer at 10 minutes. And whatever you're doing, go do it for 10 minutes and see if it works. Again, these are strategies. Some may work for your family, some may not.
that was really interesting, Brenda, because I was like, at first when I said put everybody in timeout, what, they going to the corner? But then when you read on, listeners,
Mhm.
when you read on, it was like make a game out of it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
not like
actually,
everybody's on punishment.
don't they like on punishment? I was like, do they gotta go to the corner? No, but that
Mhm.
you're right. If everybody kind of gets that time to, de-escalate down, that I love that. I love that one too. I really did. Once I understood, I love that.
Yeah. And so, and I know some families do this anyway, but have a family game plan. I know you
Mhm.
guys do games.
Yes, we do.
Maybe
Yes, we do.
something that will calm the caregiver,
Yes.
a family puzzle, or who can make the funniest face, or go on a
Yes.
family walk, or a coloring contest, just
Yes.
to acknowledge that you're having certain feelings, but now let's do a distraction that the whole family can
Yes.
get into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So this next one might take some planning. And that is, keep a box of costumes and stuff handy so that when you're not feeling yourself,
Mm,
dress up like somebody else. Get your little costume together that looks like a superhero, Ninja Turtle or something, because it will help you to come out of what you're feeling.
what you're feeling.
And it
That
may,
was interesting too. I was like, I don't know if that'll work for our household, but I like that that's an option. Like I now, so because it was like there, it said keep a sense of humor. So
yeah.
for me, I would be like, okay, I'm gonna do comedy shows or
Mhm.
comedy stand up. We like a lot of stand up comedy, so that can because that humor will help too. So I
Yeah,
got that part, but
yeah,
I like that that's an option because some families, I know I have friends that they like dressing up and the kids like dressing up. And
yeah.
so this would actually work.
It
It
could
would.
work for some, and
Yes.
you guys being sports, such a sports family, you could all go,
Mhm.
hey, you know what? We're gonna have a little Jersey night.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Everybody's gonna put on our jersey, and we just gonna talk basketball for a few minutes, or just
Yes.
dribble a ball for a few minutes, or just something to engage everybody and get everybody into a lighter mood.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and okay, we know that self-care is important. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
and for people who can't always go to a spa, um, what would you suggest? Have you ever, just tried doing some things at home?
So that's not good. I have boys and they
Hmm.
just was like, Mom, you do this all the time. You do this all the time. So they don't really care about that very much.
Hmm.
Um, so I have tried, I think I tried a facial once and they were not, especially Neo. He's so sensitive to,
They don't want you to touch doing
yeah,
that.
he's like, Mom, I'll wash my own face. Okay, you ruined this whole moment. Okay, we're done. Isaiah at least try it. Then he wanted to make face painting. Mom, why can't we make it a face paint? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be a facial. So I realize I have boys and they're not feeling this whole little,
Yeah.
yeah. But so it's still a good thing to do because there's so much stuff out there to create spa days at home.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have friends with daughters and I've seen it. So there's
Mhm.
it's so much of that. So it can help.
Yeah. And
I
even
think go ahead.
I was gonna say, even if you can, hold out until bedtime for the kids,
Yes.
and then, don't before you collapse yourself, and,
Yes.
go into frustration or whatever,
Yes.
that's a time when you can just, take a nice bath, or just sit and do some deep breathing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
I think, and that's one thing I was going to bring up too, Brenda.
Yeah.
After you've done all of this, there has to be a point where you're able to verbalize what you were feeling. And so
Mhm.
I think I have to, if it's a huge stressor or if it's a continual stressor,
Mhm.
um, I need to make sure that I verbalize it because I think what could happen is if we don't, the stress then builds up and you get
Uh,
now it's exploding. And sometimes I'm the type where I hold it all in and I wait till later and it exploded. So although these are strategies for you to do maybe daily or during the
mhm.
week, I would want to encourage our listeners to find somebody to actually talk it out with also if it's the
Sure.
continuing and you're like really especially if you have I have, we advocate for lower functioning. I know that's harder.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so um I don't want them to use these strategies and then they kind of bottle it all in and then
Yeah.
they haven't actually verbalized it.
Mhm.
So, you know, you can say psychiatrist. I don't know who that person is, but it needs to be verbalized out about what they're
Yeah,
really
and you know what? Could be a friend, could
Yes,
be you know, you could just get in your chair and tell it to God.
you sure can. You sure can. You
Just
sure
like you
can.
said, sometimes just I'm glad you said that because sometimes just getting it out,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
Yes. And I have done that. I have sat on the couch. I
Mhm.
have wrote it out to God in a prayer, and then I
Mhm.
felt so much better with me just getting it out. And it
Mm.
was easier for me to tell Steph or to tell you or to tell my mom, because you got, I mean, people that are in my circle, to tell them.
Mhm.
But once me just getting it out, and no matter how crazy or what, and one thing about God, you can tell him he don't care. However crazy you sound, however
Right.
he gonna still love you. He ain't gonna
Yeah.
judge you. He do
Yeah.
not care. And
Right.
so, um, but getting it off your chest, it does something. It releases something off of you. Just verbalizing it.
Mhm. Mhm. And then sometimes too, getting it out and you know, saying it to God. You'd be surprised, you know, how he works. He may send
Yes.
somebody, you know,
Yes.
a card may come in the mail. You may
Yes.
see
Yes.
something on TV that goes, oh wow, okay,
Very true.
yeah.
It has happened several times with me. Very true.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
And so this this last strategy,
I
this is like,
seen this and I was
yeah,
like,
this is
huh?
super free. And I thought about this
I
because
was
I
like,
thought, okay, I have been frustrated myself at times and felt overwhelmed.
mm-hmm.
And, you know, and I believe God told me to do this one day. He's like, you know what? Fill up your water container and sit there and sip the whole thing down.
Really?
Yep. Don't do
Are you
anything
serious?
else. Don't do
Wow.
anything else until you drink. And he's like, don't guzzle it. Sip that whole thing down. If you know, if nothing comes to your mind, nothing comes to your mind. And so I just sat there and I was drinking the water and then I started thinking, okay, this is nuts. But then I kept drinking it. It's like nothing is happening. And he's like, right, nothing is happening. And so by the
Wow.
time I got to the end, I literally, Mia, I really forgot what was so, you know, pressing.
That is insane.
And
Wow.
so okay, so I looked it up. And I said, okay, is drinking water a way to help with depression and frustration? And it is, because it actually
Wow.
hydrates you. It really does. Not just me, it hydrates you, it calms you, and it really does help fight depression.
Wow. That is nuts.
Drinking
I
some
seen that and I was like, is she who said this? Like,
water.
wow.
Like,
Okay.
okay, I don't want to put that out there, God, if it's only me. So let me just make
So you
sure
went and
I
wow.
did. I did. And
So just the act of actually sitting there and doing it, and like you said, you don't guzzle it. You're
right.
actually kind of
You're just
sipping, and you're
drinking because you're breathing, you're calm. It's really
hmm.
hard for you to be angry and upset and be calm enough to drink a glass of water. So,
Oh, okay,
okay, I'm
okay.
just gonna try this. And like I said, at first I was like, okay, this is dumb. But then the more I did it, I started to,
Wow,
I started, my mind just started to drift a little bit. It literally, I just took a little hydration vacation, if you will.
wow, wow.
And
That's amazing.
it worked.
Wow,
It worked.
wow, wow,
So,
wow, wow, wow.
so back to this Valentine's Day deal because it
Oh
is
my
coming
gosh,
up.
yes, yes, it is. Yes, it
And
is.
we know with some superpower kids, especially if your super kid is in school,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there'll be programs at school, there'll
Yeah.
be events at school. And you always say, and I know this is true, you got to let your super kid know what's going on.
Yes, ahead of time.
You know,
Yes, please, please, please. Yes, yes. It keeps both y'all stressed down. Yes.
explain what most people consider this day to be. This is a day where you show love and appreciation to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you may have to guide your kid as to how to do that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, like, hey, let's make some cards for some people. Show them, how they used to fold the paper in half and then
Yes.
cut the heart out and like, okay,
Yes.
so now let's color some of these because you know you have people who you love and care about. Let's make a list of who those people are. Who do you think
Yes.
would like a card? It could be, not just family members, but hey, maybe it's the mailman, maybe
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
it's your teacher, maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's just somebody you see on a regular basis. Wouldn't it be nice for them to get a card from you?
Yes. 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 Yes.
So, yeah.
And you have to be aware
Mm-hmm.
if your super kid understands that they would want some love too, especially if they understand. So if they're the kid in the class and like we know this happens with their superpowers, they're sometimes bullied and they're sometimes made fun of. And so they want to share in the love. So they want cards and candy too from and they're going to want it from their peers. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're almost expected. Okay, mom, we know you love me. And Grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
you love me. But they're going to want, so there also has to be a discussion. And I think we're going to go down one of them and talks about talking to the teachers, telling the teacher about
Mm-hmm.
including that super kid to make sure that super kid gets a card or candy or something too, especially if they're aware of it.
Yeah. And even, and this may fall back on the parent, but if they're having a Valentine's Day party at school,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
make sure that you include the snacks that your kid eats
Yes.
and have your
Yes.
kid bring those because,
Yes.
you can also, suggest to the teacher, hey, we don't give our kid a lot of sugar. And, schools are used to that now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they
Everybody's
are. That's
got
very true.
specific dietary needs. So they may
Yes.
even tell all the kids, hey, bring the snacks that you like to eat and bring enough to share.
Yes.
So
Very true. Very true.
so
Very
that'll
true.
help your kid to understand too that yeah, this is giving and receiving. And that's a very good point because if somebody, your kid gives somebody a Valentine, if your kid is one of those kids who is super sensitive, doesn't like to be touched,
Yes.
again, you need to communicate that with the teacher
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
that she can communicate that with to the other kids. Hey,
Yes. Very true. Very
he,
true.
he would really like a thumbs up, you
Yeah.
know, or maybe a fist pump, but maybe not the hug. So
Yes. Maybe. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
But I think they want to feel included in that. And I guess that
yeah.
goes for kids that don't have the superpower. It goes for, I can remember being
Everybody
in
wants
school
that,
and you
right?
wanted candy and you wanted the guy that you had a crush on to give you a card. I mean, that's, you did.
Yeah,
And
you did.
so especially that time you want it. And so if they're aware, they want that too. And
Yeah,
so,
good point.
but you're right about they're going to want it their particular way and what it is, as opposed to the normal chocolate cards. Like you said,
Right.
want they may want a book, but that
Yep.
brought something to their life because it's something that but they want to feel engaged, I
And
guess is what I want to
that's
say.
a very good point, especially for teachers to recognize how to engage them
Yes.
in what everybody else is doing. So
Yes.
because they aren't always going to tell you,
Yes.
hey, I felt like this or nobody gave me this. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
just, work with the parents and with the kid,
Yes.
determine what's the best way for this super kid to experience what this day is about too. So
Yes.
don't just assume that, well, he's not talking, so he must not need anything.
You're absolutely right. We had an incident with Neo, and it wasn't Valentine's Day, but it was another incident where
Mhm.
there was a lot of people there, and Stefan and I assumed that he wasn't going to want to respond, be involved, because it was such a big atmosphere and big people. It was a lot of people around, and he let us know at the end. He said, "You guys didn't call my name out like you called out all the other kids' name," and it was a basketball thing. And and I said, "I guarantee you that'll never happen again." I said, "Okay," but
Ah,
we assumed his silence and him cooperating was he didn't want to be involved, and he was
okay.
very much said, and he didn't play the game, he wasn't involved, but he
Mhm.
wanted to be announced as some, and I said that won't happen again.
Okay, wow.
And so you are absolutely right about, because they're not verbalizing it don't mean they're not internalizing it.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're right, you're gonna want to include them, and if they step back, that's fine. So
yeah,
if it's,
yeah.
if it's a party and is, but you at least engage them and they
Yeah, and
were
let them
part of it.
decide.
Let them decide.
so they don't
Yeah.
feel left out. So
Yes.
we are, wow, coming to the end again.
Oh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But, with Valentine's Day, however you celebrate it, remember that it's a time that everybody needs to feel appreciated,
Yes.
including you, caregivers, listeners.
Yes.
So
Yes.
treat yourself specially, because you are. We
Yes.
can't do anything without each other. So give yourself some love. Give yourself a break.
Yes.
Drink a
Yes.
glass of water.
Drink a glass of water. That is a new thing. I mean, that's gonna be our new drink a glass of water. We're
Drink
gonna have
a
to
glass
add
of
this
water.
into something.
Yeah, and don't dread the day.
Yeah.
Make sure that everybody feels loved on Valentine's Day and really every day.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, as we close out this edition of the Superpower Radio Show, we are so thankful that you are listening, that you are supporting us. Again, we would love to hear from you. Please go to our website, www.adventuresofneo.com. Send us any comments. And as a preview for our next show, we are also going to be celebrating Black History Month, or if you call it
Yay!
American History Month.
Yay!
And
Yay! Yay!
we did some research and we found some incredible, inspiring stories
Yes, we
of
did.
African Americans who are on the spectrum. So can't
Can't
wait
wait.
to show you those or to talk to you about those. So
Yes.
we'll see you again, or you'll hear from us again. So have a good one. Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye bye.
Bye.